Welcome, everyone. I was just chatting with Misty about how the weather is getting nicer now in Madison. I'm glad to hear that. Um, yeah, let's warm up our bodies a little bit and do a little bit of breathing exercise to prepare the mind and body for meditation. So let's start out with just some gentle neck rolls. Some of you may want to go all the way around. I have cervical neck stuff, so I just go forward and side to side. And see if you can really do the movement very, very slowly. Slow and gentle. And then start coordinating your breath with the movement. So breathing in when the head moves from one side to the other, rolling forward. And then breathing out, head rolls the other direction. Coming to center. One breath. Feel your breath, feel your body. And then some shoulder rolls. And again, really nice and slow. So moving the shoulders forward, up, back, down. Whichever direction, doesn't really matter which way you started. Just doing a few really nice, slow, gentle shoulder rolls. And then switching directions. Coming to stillness. Feel your body, feel your breath. One breath. So we're going to, throughout these movement exercises, I'm going to invite you to do what I've taught the last couple of times, which is called full yogic breath. Okay. And so you can see my torso a little bit better. So the full yogic breath is going to be, you're going to fill up the belly first with air, and then you're going to fill up the rib cage, and then you're going to fill up the upper lungs. So in order to do that, when you breathe in, the diaphragm pushes down, which then pushes the belly out. So you can see as I breathe in, my hand is going to go that way. And then it's like a reverse of the inhale. On the exhale, the shoulders soften, the rib cage softens, and the belly comes in. So first, breathing in, belly goes out. Ribs and chest. Chest goes down. And on the exhale, it's not like an exact, okay, lungs, ribs, chest, or lungs, ribs, belly. It's there's some overlap. So it's not about being so structured and rigid about how we breathe. It's just about emphasizing that the breath really does have three parts. We want to connect them and have them be fluid, but also just start to recognize that we really are breathing into our entire thorax, right? Our entire central part of our body. And it's important to do that because a lot of the times, many of us, especially those of us who suffer from anxiety, we're often just breathing up here, breathing in the chest, and the belly sometimes even goes in when we breathe in. So that's reverse breathing. And over time, that can really make anxiety worse. It makes the body think you're in fight or flight all the time. So getting this thing down where when you breathe in, your belly goes out. And it's important to not have tight pants on. That's part of the reason I think a lot of people reverse breathe in our culture is we wear tight pants. And it really is very counterproductive for our overall well-being. So let's do that together. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. You can see with my hands where the breath was moving. Hope you can see that. All right, so let's keep doing full yogic breath. So mainly, I just want you to be aware that when you breathe in, your belly is moving out. Everything else is just, icing on the cake. But if you focus on one thing, no matter what movement we're doing, make sure your breath is moving out when you're breathing in. So belly button pushes out on the in breath so that you're really using your diaphragm. It doesn't have to be strained. It can be easeful. So do that a couple times. And as you breathe out, notice your jaw. Notice how you may even if you're resting and softening the jaw on the out breath, a lot of times what I'll notice, because I have this sort of baseline jaw clenching, which a lot of people do, I'll even clench my jaw very subtly as I'm breathing in. So see if you can drop your jaw. It feels and looks a little funny, but it feels so good if you can release the jaw. So maybe even just taking a moment to do a little bit of movement, opening the mouth, moving the jaw around, shaking the head. You're at work. You can become the one in the office who does weird body and meditation things. Yeah, really shake out the head and the face. Like a kid would do. Feels good. Maybe puff out the cheeks. Maybe even give your face a little massage. Whatever feels good. This is all part of preparing the body. When we sit down to meditate, if we're clenching all these things, it's fine. It's not going to hurt anything, but it's just a lot harder. When we can prepare the body to be soft and relaxed, maybe even scratch your scalp, really get in there. It feels good. As always, anything I suggest is an invitation, whether it's these movements beforehand, but I can't possibly know what's in your body today or what what parts aren't moving well or what injuries you might have. So like, as I've said many, many times before, ultimately we are each our own inner healer, inner teacher, inner guru, inner guide, whatever phrase you like to use. And so listen ultimately to that inner teacher of yours, because that's what's most important. Maybe give the neck and shoulders this place where if you spend any time at all at a desk or at a computer, or you're just human and you have a life, your shoulders are probably tight. I know mine are. But just give your shoulders some love. Then your arms out in front of you like this. Round the upper back. A little stretch for between the shoulder blades. And breathe in deeply to the back body. Really feel that area of the back stretching as you breathe in this position. Feel how the breath doesn't just go into the front of the body, it goes into the back of the body too. Dropping the arms. Feel your body, feel your breath. One deep yogic breath. Jaw is soft. Let's do another one. And if it feels good, maybe you want to sigh on the exhale. And if you don't like to sigh, that's fine. Many of us have things with using our voices, and it can be really challenging to make sound. You know, it's been a big challenge for me. So honor what you're needing today, and just know that making sigh sounds or making sounds can be a deeply nourishing, very fast way of regulating your own nervous system. So let's see. Let's open up the chest a little bit. So kind of the opposite of the last stretch that we did. You're going to, if your hands clasp like this behind you, you're going to clasp your hands and then you're going to stretch like this. And breathe deeply and fully and feel how that the front of the chest really, the pectoral muscles, all of this is really nice and stretched in this position. Full yogic breath in this position. And if your hands aren't touching, that's fine. Just keep them back. And if that's uncomfortable, let them drop. Ultimately, trust your own inner guide. Breathe into your belly, yogic breath. And if you still don't have the yogic breath, you can actually really see it when my body is in this positioning. You can see how my belly fills up first, then my rib cage, then my chest, and then exhale, chest goes down, rib cage softens, belly goes in. So if you haven't gotten that yet, you can see it easier this way. Shake it out a little bit. Check the time. Yeah, let's do, if you feel like standing, if you're able to stand, just stand up for a brief moment. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little bit of grounding with the feet, nothing fancy. And we're just going to shift back and forth from foot to foot. So I'm literally just very slowly shifting my weight from one foot to the other. Very slow. I'm not lifting up the feet. I'm just shifting my weight back and forth. And go with the pace of your own breath. Do the in-breath, shifting one direction. And do the out-breath, shifting the other direction. Feel all of the corners, all of the bottoms of your feet. Really tuning into the contact between you and Mama Earth. Coming to stillness, deep yogic breath, breathing in. Noticing the jaw. Is it tight? Relax the jaw, open the mouth. And then the last movement thing we're going to do before we drop into meditation, or a little bit of breath work actually, is we're going to do this energy clearing technique from Tai Chi and Qigong. And the movement is like this. Hands come up, palms up. Hands come up into the air. And then hands come down, palms are down. During this part of the motion, it's like your hands are scanning your body energetically. You don't need to use your mind. It's all happening anyway. And we're just sweeping the body clear of any stagnant energy, any energy that's not serving. And then you get to the bottom and you shake your hands out for a moment. Another important part of this is your knees are bent and your feet are about shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. And so to add to just the simple movement of it, what we're doing is we're gathering chi or prana or energy as our hands rise. And then that wholesome energy, purifying energy is raining down upon our heads. And that pure energy is helping to scan the body, sweeping clean any stagnant energy, any cells that need oxygen repair. And then we shake it out. And all that energy that is not serving anymore just gets recycled into the earth. Thank you, Mama Earth. All right, so now we're going to combine that with the breath, and we're going to do it 3 times in silence. So as you might have guessed, as your arms rise, you're breathing in. So it's breathe in and breathe out. And do it with the pace of your own breath. If you have good balance, I would invite you to close your eyes. If your balance is not so good, soft gaze, something neutral, ideally not the screen, because I want you to be inwardly focused. So bend the knees, nice solid stance, and whenever you're ready, begin to breathe in and arms rise. We'll do this 3 complete times. Yogic breath. When you reach the end of the third breath, make sure to shake your hands out, releasing any stagnant energy. And then bending the knees, allow the arms to rise. You just kind of naturally rise to a place, the Qigong or the Tai Chi masters might say we're feeling the edges of our energetic fields. You don't have to believe in anything. Some people see their energetic fields. You might be using your imagination to imagine yourself surrounded by a white light or maybe a purple light, whatever you want. But just imagining yourself surrounded and protected in your own energy sphere, in your own light. Then placing one hand just below the belly button, other hand over top, the Dantian, center of power and will. Bending the knees and feel your power center. Feel your center of gravity. Face is soft. Full yogic breaths into the belly. Feel the breath, feel the body. Soften the body with the out breath. Only contracting the muscles that you need to be upright or in your chair if you're sitting. Staying inwardly focused. So barely opening the eyes if you need to, and moving into the position that you're going to meditate in. But again, staying inwardly focused, breath and body. Coming to seated or lying down, or you can meditate standing. And beginning just to notice this new posture. Feel your body in this new posture. And begin to notice the breath. Tuning into whether you were breathing into the abdomen, whether you are breathing into the abdomen first. And then letting any breath instruction go and just letting your breath be natural, letting it be easy. Still staying in tune with it, still awareness of the breath, but you can release any instruction or control. Breathing in, the spine elongates slightly, chin tucks slightly. Breathing out, invitation to the body, soften. Breathing in. And breathing out. And allowing the breath to be this companion that is always bringing you back to the present moment. It's just always right now. It's super handy. You can't forget it. Can't leave it at home. Always got it with you. So whenever you notice that, in meditation or in life, because really it's all one big meditation. That's the whole point. Whenever the mind gets caught up in something, and not that we need to think, we need to plan, we need judgment, we need all those things. So it's not about like relegating them to the not allowed. Nothing is not allowed. It's about when you notice your mind going in a direction that is not going to be useful. We all have these repeat stories that we tell ourselves. Maybe it's, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, nobody loves me. And they're rooted in the past. But repeating them over and over again, you may have noticed it results in great difficulty. So I would love to invite you that when you notice that the mind is projecting forward into the future or ruminating about the past, something maybe you've thought about a million times, or you're trying to plan for the future to prevent bad things from happening, maybe. That's what the mind does. And we don't need to be harsh with it. But when we catch it, that's the moment of mindfulness. And we practice in meditation so that when we go out into the quote unquote real world, our mind will be prepared. Our psyche will be prepared. And we're not going to do it perfectly because that's not feasible. That's not human. But when we catch those thoughts, regrets, patternings, we see them, then that's where your old friend comes in handy. The breath. The birds agree. That's when the breath can come in really, really handy. Because it's always there. And it's always right now. It's not 3 seconds from now. It's not yesterday. It's right now. So as soon as you feel the breath, you're right now. You could say the same thing about feeling the body in the right now. But the breath can be really useful because it actually has some movement. It has some flow to it. So it gives the mind something to watch, something to feel, something to observe. And really what the mind wants to do is it wants to rest. The mind wants to rest in the present moment. We just haven't been taught how to do that. So we have to make it pleasant enough, enticing enough for the mind to want to rest. And so you might imagine that the breath is like something really pleasant, maybe you like hammock, or maybe you can imagine being held by someone who loves you. Or maybe your visual, your imagination, maybe you're really connected to Mother Mary or Jesus or Allah or Kuan Yin. Maybe one of these spiritual figures calls to you and speaks to you, and maybe you imagine that they're just holding you and the breath is them rocking you. It's rocking you in and rocking you out. in and out. And you set aside striving, for trying to be a better person, for trying to be a perfect person. And you just lean in and let yourself rest for this next little bit in your breath. And when the mind gets scared and it wants to make stuff up and it wants to do stuff, be very sweet with the mind. It doesn't work to be harsh. Be sweet and, oh, sweetie, it's okay. We're just resting in the breath right now. Just bring the mind back to the right now. The right now is the breath. Just keep coming back. Keep coming back. And if you notice that your chest or your belly are stiff, then go back into full yogic breath and just practice full yogic breath for the rest of the time. Because until the body is doing that pretty naturally, resting in the breath can be very, very challenging. So I'm going to be quiet now. We really don't have a ton of time left to sit together. We have about 11 minutes. So we're just going to sit in silence. I'm going to be quiet so you can go fully inward and use all the different tools at your disposal. If you're having a hard day, maybe you want some touch on your face or on your heart. Maybe you direct your breath into an area of tightness or discomfort. It's not about being harsh with the body. It's about being sweet and gentle and compassionate with ourselves. So with that intention, move into silence, noticing breath, noticing body, and coming back to the now, resting in the breath. Staying inwardly focused, aware of the body, aware of the breath, as you let this poem fall upon your ears. It's called The Dance. Tune in to your body, the smallest movements, the breath. Feel the body, feel the breath. Within these tiny fluid movements, you will find your essence. This is where the bliss is. Invite you to, in a moment, join me in 3 ohms. For those of you who don't chant at all, this is a new thing. The point is not the sound that comes out of your mouth. The point is the vibration that your unique sound is creating in your unique body. And there's something very healing and very grounding about your own vibration. So when you do the Om, notice the vibration in your body, feel it. We can get very self-conscious when we make sound. I can certainly. See if you can let that go for a moment. And if you're in a space where you can't make sound, you're in an office, you can't Om, no worries. Just imagine that you're making the sound of Om. So in a moment, we'll breathe in together. And then as we breathe out, you'll use the out breath to make the sound of Om. Feel the sound vibration in your body. Breathing in. Om. Om. May the fruits of our practice spread outwards in all directions and help to end the suffering of all beings everywhere. Thank you to each one of you for co-creating this healing energy, this energy of loving vibration that I really do trust heals each one of us and spreads outwards. There was this little bird over here who really loved our oming.